Good morning. This is your Race to Mackinac briefing from Wednesday, July 8th. A couple days now before the start of the cruising fleet and 3 days out from the start of the racing fleet. So getting within range now on a lot of the forecast tools that we typically use, and we can start to get a little bit more confidence in the forecast, especially for the first day or two. In fact, forecast first day or two hasn't changed a whole lot since yesterday. However, there is quite a bit of uncertainty still in the forecast for the latter half of the weekend and into early next week. So things are no doubt going to change as we go forward in time here. Just looping through the first couple of days of weather maps today through Friday morning. So I've set up the chart now for Friday morning, and we see that we're going to have high pressure over the Great Lakes. Yesterday this was a little bit further to the southeast than it's indicating for today, from today's forecast rather. But in any case, this will be shifting out to the east and the southeast. And I want to draw your attention to a couple things. First, the warm front across southern Illinois, central Mississippi Valley area down through here. And secondly, this cold front up to the north. We've got a fair bit of cool air pooling again up in central Canada that actually is going to slide sort of east and then eventually southeast into the Great Lakes region. This warm front, though, is our first weather feature that we're looking at, and that is going to be approaching during the day on Friday. As we move the forecast chart forward into Friday evening, we see this warm front approaching from the southwest. So the day starts out fine ahead of the front, but there's going to be a fair bit of rain and possible embedded thunderstorms developing just ahead of this frontal system as it moves north, and I expect that to move into the lake late Friday and into Saturday. So again, as I mentioned yesterday, this is looking like a fairly wet race. There will be some showers periodically, possible thunderstorms. Some of them could bring some briefly heavy rainfall as well. Up to the north, we see this cold front I was mentioning, which is poised to move south during the weekend. As we go to Sunday now, we see that warm front is pretty much stationary across the across Lake Michigan through this area, so we imagine there's going to be quite a bit of shower and possible thunderstorm action out just in front of that. And then we see the cold front now is starting to shift to the south, perhaps a little bit slower than yesterday's forecast, but indeed it is coming to the south. And we expect that we're going to get a low pressure wave developing somewhere in this area and moving across the central part of the lake on later Saturday and into Sunday. And as that happens, once that low gets to the east, it pulls down this cold air, and we get a shift from southerly component winds or easterly component winds into northerly component winds through the weekend. So here's our front making its way south now early next week, and we see these low pressure areas moving across the southern part of the Great Lakes. Those will shift out to the east, and as I say, as they do so, they'll pull more of this cold air down. There's a high pressure area just sitting up here over northern Ontario, which is supporting the transport of cooler northeasterly flow across the northern lakes in the wake of that front. So that'll bring in cooler weather for early next week and a chance of showers. There's more rather than steady rain now. That all shifts to the south and east. This will be more along the lines of some showers occurring in the area. All right, let's go to the wind field forecast now. Okay, once again, we're looking at the streamlines here. So those gray lines that you see with the arrows on them are indicating the direction of flow. The colors shading indicates the wind speed, and we've got a wind speed scale over here on the right side. And then the black lines are isobars. So this is the wind field forecast for Friday afternoon around 1 p.m. Local time, so just before the cruising fleet gets underway. And like yesterday, we've got some light winds over the southeastern part of the lake. There's a small high pressure area here. We've got a lake breeze which is trying to go, although weakly, along the Illinois-Wisconsin shore. Generally southerly flow up the center part of the lake, and then the wind veered to the right on the Michigan shore where there is lake breeze component occurring there. If we look further south from Chicago, we see the wind is more got a bit of an southeast component into it, and that's because that's the gradient direction of flow just ahead of the warm front, which is approaching from the southwest. So forward in time now, we're going to go up to Friday evening. That little high that is over the southeastern part of Lake Michigan actually moves to the center of the lake, a pretty classic lake breeze pattern, but I expect this to be a pretty weak lake breeze in the southern third of the lake. We're going to have a fair bit of cloud coming north ahead of that warm front, and that's going to shade the land areas so that they won't heat up quite as much as they possibly should. Fortunately, the lake is relatively cold, and so even a little bit of a heat up does give us enough there for some kind of a lake breeze. That's all happening in the southern third of the lake. Up in the north, we've got this sort of gradient south-southwest flow, which is pretty much following the contours of the geography up the northern part of the lake. Going now to Saturday morning, we'll jump ahead here. This is 7 a.m. Central Time on Saturday. We lose, of course, the lake breeze component overnight because the land cools. We actually get some very light winds along the Illinois-Wisconsin shore, and then we're seeing just sort of this gradient flow up the lake, with our high pressure system moving out to the east here, and then we've got the southeasterly gradient coming up ahead of that warm front. Remember, I am expecting rain to be moving into the southern part of the lake overnight ahead of that warm front. So we will be seeing some showers and possible embedded thunderstorms moving up from south to north on the lake with time Friday evening into Saturday morning. Now jumping ahead to approximately start time on Saturday. Here's our weather map. We get a little bit of an acceleration, that warm front approaching and kind of squeezing the gradient a bit. We've got a little bit of southeast gradient flow happening across the southern part of the lake. This is a bit more optimistic than yesterday's forecast, but I would take it with a grain of salt. The forecast is likely to change. And also, we remember I'm expecting these showers and thunderstorms around, which could very well contaminate the wind field. But there is an attempt at developing a little bit of a lake breeze over on the Michigan shore here Saturday. I'm not sure that's going to happen if we have as much cloud around as I think we're going to have. But anyway, the basic flow is sort of southeast wind in the southern part of the lake, and then this southerly tending southwesterly still up in the northern section of the lake. But as I say, we'll be getting some showers, some rain here in the southern third, or even maybe the southern half of the lake by this time. This is Saturday evening, and things are starting to get a little bit more confused. We've got the warm front, which is working its way up north into the lake. We've got a little bit of a light easterly gradient just ahead of it. The south to southwest gradient is moving further up the lake, and in between we have some variable conditions indicating a southeasterly on the Wisconsin shore. I'm not sure that's actually going to be there. We'll need to look at some forecast closer to the day. I think what we're seeing here is some variability perhaps associated with showers. There is an attempt at lake breeze, as I said, on the Michigan shore, but that seems unlikely given the fact that we'll have quite a bit of cloud around. So lighter, more variable conditions. I actually feel like this picture here is a bit too optimistic in terms of what sort of breeze we'll be getting on Saturday evening on the lake. All right, overnight on Sunday is a big night. We actually remember I was talking on the synoptic analysis that we'd have this warm front moving up through the lake and some waves of low pressure developing. There's our first wave indicated on this forecast chart here for 1 a.m. on Sunday morning, moving across the southern part of the lake. It's not realistic to expect the model to predict the exact location and strength of this low quite at this time scale. But basically we need to be aware that there's going to be some low pressure activity moving across the southern part of the lake. And there'll be local wind accelerations. You can see the circulation around this particular low quite easily. Our south and southwest flow is really starting to relax and is just in the northern third of the lake now, and expecting quite a bit of rain in this weather pattern right here. In fact, I'll just overlay the real quick the rainfall forecast for Sunday night, and you can see what I've just done there is all the shading there is rain. The red is heavy rain, and green is lighter rain. You can see that's covering quite a bit of the lake on Saturday night into Sunday morning. All right, now for Sunday during the day, it looks like we're going to have that low moving to the Michigan shore. This is the forecast for 1 p.m. on Sunday, and that low moves to the Michigan shore, and once that happens we start to get this push of northerly flow down the lake behind it. So that front that's coming in from the northwest, this low and the low moves out to the east, allows this northerly flow to project down across the lake. So we switch from sort of a downwind or reaching type of race in light but variable conditions into an upwind light moderate pattern. Then we're going to go to Monday evening, and so this is overnight Monday, the low, early Monday morning. This is the low moving to the east, basically the Lake St. Clair area, so it tracks out to the east during the day on Sunday. Initially we have northerly flow behind that, but then it starts to weaken again, and we actually get lighter breezes developing in the over the lake into Monday, and our gradient flow, which was northeasterly, now is shifting around more easterly up in the northern part of the lake. So as you can see, it's a pretty complicated forecast. As I say, it's very likely to change going forward in time. Here's our forecast now for Monday afternoon. That low out to the east, a little bit of a high pressure ridge moving across the lake in this forecast, but as I say, there is quite a bit of uncertainty at this time. If indeed this is the case, then we start to we weaken the sort of light northeast and east winds up in the north part of the lake, and we actually start to develop a light southerly again on the western side of this ridge, returning to the lake. But as I say, it's quite a light variable forecast. It's unsettled with showers and thunderstorms, so stay tuned. We'll be trying to get some more clarity as we go forward in time here.